In this video, I'm going to talk about the care and maintenance of horsehair sporrans. And if you're to look up the internet, you'll find there are all kinds of sporrans out there, all colors and shapes. But basically you want to have one good shape, and that shape is a trapezium, trapezoid, whichever part of the Atlantic you're from. Kind of like a triangle with the top cut off. Here we have a couple of sporrans taken from my band's inventory. They need some work. And this is what we're going to use to do the work. Shampoo, Cowboy Magic, and a comb. Before we get into the actual work, this is what a sporran looks like from the side. A horsehair sporran usually has the 2 or 3 tassels at the front. 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 layers of horsehair. In this particular one, I do believe that the right side layer is goat hair, not horsehair. Same color, very much different texture though. And while I washed this particular sporran, I did not put the whole thing into the water. I basically wanted to keep the leather out of the water. So I held it in this attitude and dipped all of the hair into the water so I could wash the hair but keep the leather as dry as possible. And I realize it can't be kept 100% dry. While this looks like something that my son has brought home after a day of shooting, it's actually 5 sporrans drying after having been washed. So Kat has volunteered to demonstrate the proper combing technique when trying to comb out all the tats and knots and things on a horsehair sporran. So using her ear, I take the comb and I hold it at an angle that doesn't grab the hair to pull it, and then I just slowly work it through. And if there's any bad area, I don't pull it, remembering that her hair will grow, a sporran will not. And you can hear little catches here and there, but it is getting better. And then after a few runs through this, it gets easier. Then you can go with the full pitch, right? So that the teeth are actually doing their work. Anyway, to start again, angling the comb back, and then when everything's good, there we go. You want your beard done now too? Your eyelashes? There you go. Okay, and now for the magic part, the cowboy magic part. So this is basically for horses, but can be used on dogs, and as proven by Grant, can be used on beards. So I'm going to use a small amount of this, about the size of a nickel. And I'm going to work that into one of the black tassels and then the other black tassel. And then gently comb it out. Why gently, you ask? Well, remember about my hair, follically challenged, it doesn't grow back. So if you're a little rough with this, you're going to find that you're taking hairs out. In fact, I can see that already, and I'm being pretty gentle right now. I'm already starting to get an easier flow of the comb through the hair. I should actually check to see if you can get hair dye. I know women use hair dye, but maybe I need it to blacken this black part of the sporran. Anyway, working through the tassels. That's definitely untangled right now, which should allow it to hang and flow quite nicely. Again, not worth going all the way to the top. I'd hate to accidentally remove some of the hairs, but we'll see how this goes. So I'll do some more work and then I'll get back to you in a few seconds. And don't forget to look after the back. This sporran, I think, is a rescue sporran. Obviously picked up from the sporran shelter. You look at the back, yeah, it used to be called Bob, I think. So don't forget to look after this. Now look, this is a absolutely crappy haircut. I have no idea why somebody would do this to the sporran. When you spend a bit of money on these things, you should protect your, it's not an investment, you should protect your sporran. So there's a lot of Cowboy Magic now worked into the tines of the comb. So I'm just going to continue gently working through the back side of the sporran. But already the sheen is quite apparent. It's coming along nicely. Now there is some hair down below. But can't really avoid that. It's just a matter of being as gentle as possible to save as much as possible. This item is called a D, usually made of leather with a D-ring at each end. The sporran chain attaches to this, and because it's leather within the leather holder, there's no wear and tear. The D fits in the back of the sporran, and it is this D that prevents the chain from damaging the leather. Leather on leather is pretty easy to look after, so make sure you have a D. This picture shows 3 different types of sporran. The one on the left has no pouch whatsoever. The one in the middle has a very small leather pouch. The one on the right is a full depth, full sporran, which is perfect for holding my phone, my glasses, my wallet, especially my beer money. When I was issued my first Sporran Catcher, Sporran pouch, several years ago, this is the size that I got, that I was given. It could be made smaller, but bear in mind if you have a full sporran with a full pouch and a full width, you're going to need a little bit more space here. If yours is strictly a decorative one with no actual sporran in the back, then you can probably get away with something narrower, or narrower is probably the best term. Anyway, the way this works, and a technique that I like is to fold the bottom part out of the way so that the Velcro doesn't catch. Simply pull the sporran in, Velcro it up, and then that can go in the bottom of my suit bag. I put it sideways or widthways. This one is made by Scots in London. They did a great idea. Heather came up with the idea of putting the fuzzy side of the Velcro here as opposed to the prickly side, just so that the sporran itself doesn't catch. So I don't have to use that other trick when putting this into the bag. So same thing, just pull it through. There, into my suit bag. And if I really want to, when I get to a hotel room or so, I can hang that up on a coat hanger. But as I say, the best thing is to actually open it and let it hang properly as if you were wearing it. Just a view of two of my Sporran Catchers or Sporran pouches. You might see that they're slightly different size, and a lot of the reason for this, or the biggest reason, is the fact that the cantle area where the sporran purse part actually sits makes some sporrans deeper and wider than others. So if you are going to make something like this, just make sure that you make it big enough to be able to keep your sporran, because if you don't make it big enough, it ain't going to work. The sporran basically hanging with the kilt. I stole this idea from a friend in the band who basically went to Home Depot and got a couple of these very large clips, and they're actually just screwed onto the hanger, and that certainly is capable of supporting the weight of a kilt quite readily. You'll see the sporran pouch is just hanging off the back of the hanger so that it won't get lost, but the sporran is not within it, it's just hanging freely. And if I'm going to travel anywhere, then the sporran gets put into the sporran pouch for travel. And that's it. Thanks for watching.